Okay. Exam 3. This is just 10 questions. It's not too bad.
What's the duration of time on exam 3?
The time? 3 hours to do it.
Final exam, how many questions are on that?
Final has 22 questions. In about 4 hours.
Okay, thank you.
The review is a lot longer than the actual exams. I'm sure you've noticed that. The review has like 54 questions for the final, but the actual exam only has 22. All right, let's get to the review for test 3.
I had a last question.
Yeah, what's up?
For the final, can we use all our notes, our formula sheets?
Final. Yeah, you can use all your formula sheets that you made for all the old tests. That's fine.
Okay.
Okay. Can you see the review?
Yes, sir.
All right, so the first one, I'm just going to show you what we're just going to do on the calculator. Second one, where I can actually do substitution. As you can see, there's a quadratic part. So if there's a quadratic, you can't really, you can't really use the calculator for that type of question. Okay. But anything else that's linear, you could solve with a solver, or substitution, or of course, elimination. It doesn't matter how you do it. Again, I told you I'm not going to require any work. So it's up to you how you want to do this. So let's get started with the first one. Number 1, solve the system. It does say elimination, but I'm not going to require anything specific, and just either show me the work or don't. Just make sure it's right if you don't show me anything for exam 3. The first one, again, I'm not going to do substitution. We'll save it for the next one. Equation 1 is 4x plus y equal to 17. No, Nathan, you don't have to show anything for this exam. Okay. So first step, change it into a matrix. Columns for the x, columns for the y. Once it's in here, you just do your function. So the calculator will put it into row reduced echelon form, which means 1, 0, 0, 1, with the answers over here. So let's see what those answers are. Okay, I'll put it right here. Hit second X inverse button if you're using the 84. Go to edit. We have a 2 row by 3 columns, so 2 by 3. 4, 1, 17. 6, -5, 45. Second quit. Second matrix. Okay. Go to math, all the way down to row reduced echelon form, or REF. That's what that means. Back to the matrix menu. Choose the one you made, and it will solve it for us. So the answer will be 5 and -3. So this means, right, that x is equal to 5 and y is equal to -3. Now, if you're going to use substitution, we're going to end up with this. If you're going to do substitution, you want to choose something that's easy to sub. Like, check this one out. Equation 1. Well, it's going to be confusing. I'm not going to circle them. Well, equation A and B this time. Because that 1 is going to confuse me. So A, so for equation A, let's say we solve for y. Right? So subtract that 4x over, you get y equal to 17 minus 4x. So now plug this into B. Okay, so solve for y. Second step, plug it into the B equation. So you have 6x minus 5 times whatever your y is. That's right there. 5 times 17 minus 4x. So 6x minus 5 times 17, what is that? 85, is that right? Let's see.
Yes, 85.
Thanks. 85. -5 times -4 is positive. And it was equal to, I forgot to write, 45, right? So right here, we said that y is equal to 17 minus 4x. So at this point, you only have x's. Add them together, you get 26x minus 85 equal to 45. Add the 85 over. 85 plus 45, that's going to be 130. Divide by 26. X is equal to 5, which we already knew, right? Once you have this, plug it into here and you'll have y. So plug this. To solve for y. So you're gonna get y equal to 17 minus 4 times 5, which is gonna equal -3. Anyway, so that's how you would do the substitution if you wanted to, but again, you don't have to, and I'm not gonna make you. Any questions on the substitution or the calculator step? Okay. Number 2. Solve with substitution. I think I'm gonna have to turn the page. You guys cool on page 1? Okay. So let me know if you need me to slow down or if something doesn't make sense. No big deal. Got plenty of time, and this review is kind of short. Using substitution. I feel like as soon as I take a few days off, my handwriting is worse. Excuse me. X squared minus y is equal to 0. 2x plus y is equal to 0. So I can't really do, I mean, unless you have a fancy calculator, you can't do matrices because this is not a linear equation. So what you can do is solve for y in one of them and then plug it into the other. So this is a and b. So I'm going to choose to solve for y on a because it's just, well, actually it doesn't matter. I'm going to solve it in b. It seems a little easier. So if I subtract the 2x over, I solve for y, right? Does that make sense? Excuse me. And then plug this guy into here, and then we're good. So a, we're going to get x squared minus a negative 2x. So plug in y equal to negative 2x. Yeah, that's equal to 0. So now we get x squared plus 2x equal to 0. Now just solve for x. And you have a quadratic. So just factor the x out and solve like you would any other quadratic. Set this to 0, set this to 0. So x is negative 2. X is 0. So you have two solutions at this point. We can see if I plug in 0, I'm going to get 0 for y, right? If I plug in negative 2, then it's going to be different. So I have to plug in both. Yeah. Let's graph this first before we go any further so I can visualize what's going on.
So I guess it has two solutions.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's going to have 2 points where the graphs intersect, two solutions to the system. Let's look at it. Because if I solve for y in both, right, I'm going to have a parabola on the first one. Let me switch over. And the other one will be just a line, negative 2x. Check it out. This is what we solved for visually. See how we got that negative 2 for the x earlier, and we got a 0. So we found the x value that intersects at these 2 points. So the two solutions are going to be negative 2 and 4 and 0, 0. So in order to get those, you have to plug it in. Okay, so plug in 0 into both. Just to be safe, you're going to get 0 minus y equal to 0 for a, and b will be 0 plus y equal to 0. So obviously y is also 0. So one solution is 0, 0. Okay, now plug in x equal to -2 into A and B. So we should get -2 squared for A minus y equal to 0. And 2 times -2 plus y equal to 0. So this would be 4 minus y equal to 0. And -4 plus y equal to 0. That we can see, right? Y is 4. So -2 and 4, as we already knew, is a second solution. But you don't have to plug it into both. I'm just being paranoid. You could have plugged it in both of these x's into here, and you would have got 0 and you would have got 4, right? Since I already solved the system, this is enough. I just wanted to see it because we had a quadratic and I'm being paranoid. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
But if you graph it, you can see it right away. But you would have to solve for y to graph it here, right? If you solve for y on solve for y on both of them, move the y over here, and that'll be x squared. Subtract the 2x, right? You could use a calculator to find the intersection points if you wanted to. But if you hit a second trace, there's some buttons here called intersection. So you just pick close to the intersection point and then go to this other graph and pick close to it as well. And it'll tell you the intersects at 0, 0. I don't know if I can zoom in or not. See what I mean? Hit second trace, intersect. Get close first. So right now you're on the parabola. Get close to the intersection, and then get close to the intersection on the line. It'll tell me -2, 4, which was the other one, right? So there are many ways you can do this. Any questions on number 2?
Sir, I would also say it's a little bit blurry.
Okay, let me see what I can do. Is that better?
Yes, sir, it's a little bit better.
Okay. Sorry about that. I think I forgot to click HD. Okay. Number 3, it's the same type of deal, except it says elimination, but you can use whatever you want. I'm gonna go ahead and show you how to do elimination just in case. And then after that, I'm just gonna use the calculator and move on.
We are allowed to use the same methods, right, through the graphing calculator that you're using
Yeah, you can use whatever you like.
on the test?
Yes,
Okay, thank you.
use any method you want. You're not required to show work for exam 3. Just make sure you choose the right answer. Okay. So 9x minus 3y equals negative 12, negative 3x plus y equals to 4. All right. So the idea is you want to add these kind of like columns. You're going to add them up, but you want to first manipulate them so they're the same number but opposite sign. So for example, if this was a negative, this was a positive 3 and a negative 3, and you add them together, they're going to be 0, right? So you want to force it to be a number that'll cancel. So if I want to cancel the y, make this a positive 3. All right, so if I'm going to cancel the y, multiply equation b by 3. So that would make, I'm not going to change the a equation, first one. But multiply everything by 3, that would be negative 9 plus 3y equal to 12. Add them together, you get 0 plus 0 equal to 0. So what does that mean?
Does that mean there's no solution?
No, it means there's an infinite number. So whenever this happens, you have an infinite number of solutions. If you would have gotten, because this is a true statement, right? 0 is in fact 0.
Okay, yeah.
But if you get a false statement, that's when you have no solution. Like if you get 5 equals 2, no solution. But the system is dependent. So you have to write it in terms of the other, in terms of A is what the question says. It's a little easier to see on your calculator. So let's go ahead and do the same thing on your with the matrix. Okay, so let's reduce this guy. All right. Okay, so here's the answer in fraction form. Notice how there's a row of zeros. That's the same thing as what we got, pretty much. Same scenario. So if you do it with your calculator and you get this, it's an infinite number of solutions. So let's go ahead and write this down as a matrix. That becomes 1 negative 1/3 equal to negative 4/3. 0, 0, 0. Okay, so that means that x is equal to, well, I guess maybe it's easier to see it this way. Change this to an equation first. This is x minus 1/3 y equal to negative 4/3. So x is equal to 1/3 y minus 4/3. You see how x is in terms of the y? So what they want you to do is write it with an a. So what they would do is say x is equal to 1/3 a minus 4/3. And then y would just be a. Which I think is kind of weird, honestly. I think this is sufficient right here. Let me look at the exam really quick to see how the multiple choice is set up. I don't remember.
Just a quick question too. Do you remember how much the homework is worth?
Should be on the syllabus. I can check in a bit if you want.
Are you going to update that on the grades on the right side of it?
I will be grading and double checking everything pretty soon. If it's not accurate, it will be very soon.
Okay, yeah, I was just making sure because when you actually open up on the canvas, let me go do it again so I know what I'm talking about. On the right side where it shows you how much the grades are worth, it says 0 for no, actually never mind. I think you fixed it. It's important assignments, right?
Yeah, I believe so. I think that's all the homework, right?
I think so. It doesn't say homework anywhere. It just says important assignments.
1 sec.
And it says 15%. I don't know what it is in the syllabus. I'm checking right now.
Yeah, those are all the homeworks.
Okay. Okay, then yeah, you fix it because last time it was 0, I believe. Oops. All right, just making sure. Thank you. I didn't realize you changed it.
No, you're good. It looks like there is no multiple choice. So you'll have to write this down. If you write it this way or this way, I think that's fine. You don't have to show your work, but write something. Just write infinite solutions and then write this equation. And that'd be more than enough for me. Or just telling you what x, y, and z are equal to. You can also type it in, but I think that's annoying. So it's up to you. I would prefer, if it's easier, you can just scan it too. So it's up to you. Anyway, that's number 3.
So what if it wasn't 0? I guess it doesn't matter.
Yeah, if you have row of zeros, you have an infinite number of solutions because it's going to depend on what you choose for y. Y can be anything. So for every y that you choose, x changes. That's why it's infinite. So just write this guy here. Okay. So let's guys go ahead and do with our calculator. Yeah, 5x. Yeah, go ahead.
Also, for all these matrices, you're not allowed to do these on like a regular FX calculator or anything like that, right? It's just the graphing ones.
You can do it with the TI-36 Pro.
Okay.
I'll do it on that one next if you like. So this, as long as it's not more than X and Y, which it won't be, you can do it on here. So just go to second matrix. Right above the math button. Go to edit. You just gotta choose how many rows you got. So this one right here is gonna be 5, 3, 3, -1, 6, 5. So I have 2 rows and 3 columns. Enter your stuff. So 5, 3, 6, 3, -1, 5. Quit. Back to the menu. Math all the way to the bottom. RREF. Back to the menu. So X is, oh, you can also change it if you want. I think there's a function button. Here, bottom. There. Above the equal, there's a fraction to decimal or decimal to fraction. So you could change it if you want. So this is equivalent to 1, 0, 0, 1, 3 halves, and -1 half. This means that X is equal to 3 halves, Y is equal to -1 half.
Do you know if the exams is going to be asking for decimal or for fraction answers?
It's not multiple choice, so right now whatever you want.
Okay, so we can leave them as fraction or decimal.
Yeah, that's fine. Either one. Oops. Yeah.
And when you do that matrix too, that like line that goes down before the last number, is that normal? Do you have to put that there?
What line?
So for example, when you do the bracket or the parentheses or whatever, and you
Oh,
have
this
like,
right here?
yeah.
Oh, it's in math books. They put like a dash line here.
Will you see that normally with like when you do your work or anything like that?
In the calculators, not all the time. Sometimes I'll put it. It's just in math books you'll see this to tell you that this side are constants and this is the coefficient matrix.
Okay.
But it's not necessary. You don't have to write it.
Okay, yeah, I was just wondering what that was.
Just have it. Usually it denotes an augmented matrix. So this is kind of telling you that this is a system and these are what it's equal to. Okay, 5 is the same thing, so let's move on. Six, well, that's pretty chill. Determine the dimension of the matrix. So the dimension is going to be row by column, right? So how many rows we got? By how many columns? And then that's it. Okay. No, any questions on 3, 4, or 5, or 6? And 7. Write the augmented matrix for the system of linear linear equations. So basically changes into a matrix, which we've already been doing, so no big deal, right? So changes into a matrix. Just make sure that you have all the x's and y's in their correct spots, and on the right side of the equals you have constants. If that's good, then that's when you decide to write the matrices. Otherwise, don't. Otherwise, organize it first. But that's what they want you to do. Same thing for number 8. So let's skip number 8. Number 9 wants us to go the other direction. Let's write the system of linear equations represented by the augmented matrix. Okay, so as long as you remember that this is the x column, so it's x minus the y column equals to the right hand side, 7. There's no y, so just put y equals -1. Yeah. Okay. Any questions on changing them back and forward? All right, let's move on to something else. Actual operations on matrices. Instead of solving systems. So number 12, they want you to add a plus b, so subtract a and b, etc. Then they want us to multiply. And that's about it, I think. Yeah. Oh yeah, and then the determinant. All right. So let's do 12. So given that A is equal to -1, 1, 2, -1, and B equal to 2, 1, -1, 6. Or A says find A plus B. And remember, in order to add them or subtract, they have to be the exact same dimension. So if they're not the exact same size, then you can't do any addition or subtraction. But A plus B, just add each one. So -1 plus 2, 1 plus 1, 2 plus -1, -1 plus 6. So that will be 1, 2, 1, 5. And you can do this on your calculator if you want to. You'd have to define A and B and then do A plus B. I don't really think it's worth it because they're pretty small anyway. That's up to you. Whatever. A minus B will be the same, just be careful with your sign. So it'll be -1 minus 1, 1 minus 1, 2 minus a -1, -1 minus 6. That'll be -2, 0, 3, and -7. C is 5A. So basically just scale everything by 5 and you're done. So 5 times this, this, and this, and that. So 5 times -1, 5 times 1, 5 times 2, 5 times -1. And that's it. Any questions on A, B, or C? Okay. Now, if you wanted to see how to do it in the calculator, define your A and say 2 by 2, -1, 1, 2, -1, 2, 2, 1, -1, 6. So go, once A and B are defined, go in there, choose the A, plus, go back in there, choose the B, there's A plus B. Then do it again, or you can, depending on your calculator, you could just copy that, put a minus. And that's what we got, I think. Oh, I made a mistake. That should have been -2. The rest are good. You can also do the 5A, 5 times, we'll get the A. Right, and that's what we got. And D was yeah, space, but D said find 5a minus 4b. So just plug in those numbers and you'll be good, right? So 5 times your a minus 4 times your b. And that's it. So if there's a bunch of little operations with the same matrices, it might be worth plugging it into your calculator, but depends on the question, right? Anyway. Any questions on 12? Okay, let's do 13 then. So if possible, find a times b. If it's not possible, then just write not possible. Remember we said in order to multiply something, they have to have the same inner dimensions. So this is a 3 by 2. This is a 2 by 2. So if these match, then it is possible. If they do not match, then you can't do it. Okay. So for multiplication, I highly recommend you use your calculator because they are annoying. And like we did it by hand in the notes. And so whatever will work. It's up to you. -19, -2, 9, 0, 4. Go in there and make the b. It's already 2 by 2. So 2, 5, 0, 8. So just go in there and do a times b. Now remember that the result will be this, right? This 3, oops, blurry. Be the 3 and the 2, the outer ones. So 3 by 2. Check out the next one. Do you see that? Can you see if it's possible or not? You see that this dimension right here is a 3 by 2, right?
Yeah,
It's not
it's
possible.
not.
It's not, right? The inner ones do not match. This is a 3 by 3, right? So these are not the same. So you cannot multiply them. So if this happens, just say impossible. The inner dimensions don't match. I mean, I'll even take impossible. Okay. Let's move on, determinants.
So when does this semester finish?
As soon as you take your final, you're done. So you can finish early if you want to. But officially, there is no more class as of, or our classes, everything is done by the 8th, December 8th. And it's technically the 7th, right? Your finals on the 7th. I believe there's no, everything will be, all classes will be done by the 10th. You guys can, I hope everyone gets some time to relax afterward. Okay, so find the determinant. You have to, you can use a formula or you can use your calculator. Today's the last day for us, Nathan. 3069. So the determinant is going to be well, let me give you the formula. So if A is equal to this, the determinant of A is equal to A times D minus B times C. So our answer would be negative 3 times 9 plus minus 0, right? Negative 3 times 9, that's going to be 27. Yeah, run away. Question that. Yeah, that's it. $17 is a bigger one. So you can either do, we'll do the next page. Do it on your calculator or do it by hand. It's up to you. But any questions on 16? So if you want to do it on this calculator, just punch in the 2 by 2. So negative 3, 0, 6, 9. Determinant of A. Pretty much same thing here, right? Second matrix, edit. 2 by 2. Negative 3, 0, 6, 9. Go back into the menu, look for a determinant, which is the first one, and then choose a matrix in your menu. Same thing. So 17. Show you how to do it by hand. Okay. So remember how we said you basically circle this guy. Well, I think I use colors to make it easier. Right, so green, we cross out these guys. And you write the green part times the inner determinant. -5 times 6. Yeah, I guess it's minus 1 times 0. Then you do the 0. Minus 0 times this determinant. -6 times 6 minus 5 times 0. Plus 0 times, use a different color. This would be 0. And 0 times this determinant. -6 times 1 minus -5 times 5. Obviously, none of this matters because these are zeros, right? They're gone. The only one that really matters is this one. It'll be 3 times -30 minus 0, which is -90. If you do it on here, just plug in a 3 by 3. So -3, 0, 0, 6, no, -6, -5, 0, 5, 1, 6. Oops. Well, that should be a +3. Go back into the menu. Look for determinant. Choose your matrix. All right. Any questions on determinants? Either 2 by 2 or 3 by 3. Okay. The last two are solve using Kramer's rule. But again, I'm not going to make you do that because we didn't really talk about Kramer. So just solve the system any way you want. I don't care how you do it. Calculator, substitution, elimination, doesn't matter. Okay. So I'll let you do these last couple on your own. Okay. All right, guys, that's it for exam 3. Let me look at the exam one more time to make sure I didn't miss any topics. Yeah, it's very similar to the review, just a lot shorter. one easier. You guys have any questions about anything?
Yes, on the final, are we gonna have to submit our work as well?
Only if you want me to give you partial credit or, but no, I won't require it on the final, no. Just the first two exams.
So is doing the work like extra credit or something? Or is it just a option?
It's an option, so.
Okay.
If it's wrong, I can look at your work and give you something. But if you give me no work, I'll just accept the answer you give me for the exam. Final exam, I try not to be too difficult about it since it's comprehensive.